Hey, I'm Gizzi, LeCharles Bentley. We're going to share some things today. It's kind of a neat thing that we've been talking about as we're on tour here with these Nike camps. It's really about know thyself, know thy enemy, okay? Now, it's the same thing for a lineman. What is a linebacker trying to do to him so that he could obviously try to get an advantage? How does he then use his skills, his concepts? How does he play sound in order to make plays? We've been talking about this forever. What are your thoughts as far as you got to have your stuff tight, but you also have to know what the other guy's doing too?
You know, dealing with linebackers is a bit of a challenge for most offensive linemen because normally, I don't know about in Chris's case, most linebackers are better athletes than offensive linemen. So one thing that we teach offensive linemen to do, you beat the linebacker to a spot. You don't worry about trying to get up and dance to the linebacker because, as I just mentioned, they're going to be better athletes than most offensive linemen. So you have to play the game with angles. It's important and vital, obviously. As I'm trying to reach Chris here, and you're right, say you're the Mike linebacker, and I'm the center. I can't take this angle towards you because you're going to win. You're going to outrun me, and I'll, as they say, you'll be sucking hind tail at that point. That's not the position you want to be in. But what I would do if I were the center and I'm reaching you, I'm going to get to a spot. And once I get to my spot, hopefully, in a perfect world, I'm going to then force you to play behind me. If you can get a linebacker to play behind you, you win. Right or wrong?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is worst case scenario, getting the offensive lineman's hat in front of mine.
Right.
Okay? Now, I guess this is the cat and mouse or the chess game with this. Angles are everything in football, especially when a smaller guy is going against a bigger guy. Now, all things aside, we're in a short area. The athleticism component can get tightened down, especially if he takes a good angle. Right. So, what I want to do, especially in the case where he has a free rein, he's coming at me, I want to make sure I can get flat first. If I take a step up, guess what? You're going to be having to play off his butt, and you better be Superman to be able to get at that ball. So many times we want to get downhill, we want to attack. Guys, we've got to get flat a little bit before we can get downhill. Now, I think the obviously biggest application would be keep your depth. We get so excited, it's 3rd and 1, I want to make a big hit. I'm at 3.5 yards, good luck getting around him at 3.5. Guys, stay at 5, 4.5. Coach is jabbing at you to stay 4, but keep your depth so you can get that win.
You know, Chris, the question I have as far as an offensive lineman, how much of that is about, as far as the ability to react, is based on watching film and knowing the offense, understanding what the offense is predicated on and what they're trying to accomplish. Because if I'm a power team, normally I face linebackers that are going to be playing about 3.5 deep. If I'm more of a spread offense, a zone team, you're probably going to see linebackers playing about 4, 5 yards deep. How much of that is that predicated on just the offense itself?
Well, I tell you what, yeah, it's down and distance, the checkables as we call them, what personnel's on the field, what's the down and distance, what could they possibly run. Obviously, if we're getting a little tight here, we've got to cheat up, but here's where D coordinators help your guys out. Let's get some stunts, let's get something to impede this monster from coming off the line on me. Now, another area, he might have to double team here. You know, he might have to collision and stop that big monster, that shade, that 3 from climbing and creating havoc in the backfield. Linebackers use that to my advantage. That's probably the thing that's going to happen more often than not. If it's a free release on the lineman, and where he can come off, it gets a lot tougher. But if he can be impeded for just a second, if I can take those same steps, again, I want to stay in the same concept, he's got to come up a little quicker. I free my nose, I free my 3 point.
One thing that I used to have a problem with, and most offensive linemen in general have a problem with, is that stutter step or that jab step, that cat and mouse game we're talking about. If you're at 5, I've always had a problem with the idea of a linebacker doing this, then getting flat. For me, what it made me do, and most linemen do, it freezes your feet. So if I'm on track, and I got this great angle, and I see you taking a little baby step forward, I do this. Once I do this, it's a wrap.
That's what I want.
You win.
Yeah.
And especially when you have depth, it makes it even more difficult to make up that ground because the angle at that point is so much greater. But if you're close to me, so maybe it's 3 yards, and I'm here and you jab, that's fine. I can get a little bit flatter and still get to where I want to get to. But it's much more difficult, as you pointed out, when you have that depth. And now I'm here and as good as an athlete as I am, I'm not a better athlete than Chris.
I got you. Well, yeah, it's an angles game, and that's what's fun to talk about. Realize what you need to do at your position. Realize what the guy across from the ball you is doing, and now let the film work. Let some of the drills start taking themselves. Hey, linebackers, if we're not working with our O-line brothers, all right, being able to have some cat and mouse, even if we're not collisioning and having, you know, contact with our helmet and our pads, we're missing out on off season. Make use of your time, get reacting off each other, start getting a little bit of the cobwebs off. It's May, it's time to get it in full gear.
Exactly.
Cool, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.